Welcome back to Out and About. In today's show, we're at the London Chamber of Commerce and Industry for a special panel discussion to talk about India's future and developments.
We think in this panel we're going to explore 4 themes. We're going to talk about geopolitics. We can't start any panel without understanding geopolitics. We're going to talk about talent and the demographic dividend that India has uniquely in the global world. We're going to talk about the relationship that we talked about with India and UK. And finally, we're going to talk about equitability, sustainability. We can't do anything in this era without talking about that. So those are the topics we're going to cover off. How do you think geopolitics impacts the 2 countries?
I think the old order changed, and times are changing. And if you look at your maps or your globes at home, don't just look at boundaries and the walls. You got to look at partnerships. There are no boundaries where partnerships can be created. So that's where the first thing is. And indeed, the shift is towards the Indo-Pacific. I have a feeling that whether it's Russia, they're going to look eastwards. Everything's happening in the east. So whether it's the UK, they're trying to sign an FTA, free trade agreement, they're looking eastwards. So that's where the shift is geopolitically.
Sheshadri, can I come to you next on talent and diversity from an India context and the demographic dividend, please?
First of all, before I think I'll go to the context of, I don't want to get into any statistics because you know all India has got a talent, population, etc. But the intent right here for our ISF initiatives is, we did a recently mega job fair. We had the honor and opportunity to kind of execute that. In 2 days, we had about 20,000 people in jobs. There are many companies coming up, and also we had companies from the UK who have their shops set up like the HSBCs of the world in India. So all I can say is, in this process, we had specially able, visually impaired talent who we otherwise are underprivileged. So one of them is one of the top 10 mobility developers in the world, the visually impaired. I think you may be knowing that India is the first, now I think, #1 investor in the UK.
It's a really fantastic initiative to connect the startups from India and UK, explore synergies with each other. And this platform is going to go a long way in helping both the businesses from India and startups succeed and excel and become significant players globally together.
What about software, technology? What's the value on the non-people side from an India point of view?
Thank you, Sukand. I think the last 30 years has been an amazing journey for the Indian IT industry. And for people like us who hold an Indian passport, the Indian IT services success story has really enhanced the value of the Indian passport and has proven to the world that IT services and India has the talent to do that. Now, what's happening is there's always a question as, hey, you've been great at services, but can you also build a product? And it's been a constant question that's been asked by everybody since the last 20 years. Do you have the talent? A couple of things are changing, and that's helping Indian tech products, IT products really take off. One is the Indian IT domestic market has grown big. So, and India itself has become a beautiful test bed to test out, to figure out the right product market fit and introduce the products to solve global problems.
Well, all such initiatives I think are very positive. In a post-Brexit world, post-lockdown, post-COVID, we've had all kinds of challenges and headwinds. We've got a war in Europe now, and then we've got energy prices and business costs are increasing. So in this sort of divided world, we need to have much more collaboration and partnership. We need that to happen not just between London and India and the UK. We need that to happen internationally. We are all partners. If COVID has taught us anything, it's taught us that every single person on this earth is connected to another one. Whether in Australia or whether in America, from north or south, from east or west, from one continent to another, we all have been impacted. And we found solutions, and we can find further solutions in terms of trade and economic benefit if we work closer together.
We've talked about technology and software. Like, how about companies themselves? How about startups and large corporates coming into an international context from India?
Whether you're outsourcing, as many have done very successfully to India because of a cost differential, but many and almost everybody stays because of the talent and ability to continue to innovate beyond the cost arbitrage, and that is vital.
I think Tarun mentioned about the free trade agreement, like parking whenever it happens and however soon it happens, because it's not a if, it's more a when. The question is, where is the opportunity for cooperation between the two countries? Like, sectors, industries, topics?
Opportunities are wide and deep, I think. There's 26 chapters being negotiated, and they're not sector chapters, they're looking at themes and issues. And I'll pick on just a few of them just to give an illustration of where I think the real opportunities are. So there's a chapter on tariffs, and that can work well for both countries. Say if automotive component tariffs or Scotch whisky or spirits tariffs are reduced, then good for the UK exporters. But if the tariffs on Indian textiles or leather products are reduced, then it's great for exports into the UK. Another area where I think big gains can be made is looking at standards and customs clearances and regulatory alignment. For example, if it's easier for Indian pharmaceutical companies to get approvals to export to the UK, that could be a tremendous boost, or even greater boost for the India pharma sector. And for the UK food companies, making it easier, lower cost to export into India, that would be great as well. It's been a fantastic evening with a wonderful group of panelists and some great people here for the networking. I think it's been really important to discuss how startups between the UK and India can collaborate. And there's a shared ambition that the UK-India FTA, once it's agreed, will unlock more opportunities for these startups to work in both directions.
So I believe in the coming 25 years, this generation and coming generation, they will remember through the traditional values and also through the connect, India Connect. Maybe we are different by region, religion, caste system, whatever it is, but India as a country, we will excel because there is a connect through Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, like Sir said, and this will continue. Whatever happens, whatever technology comes and goes, but people remain the same.
I think this is a very great initiative and a great step forward, not only between India and UK, but I think congratulations to the S Global and IFIN team. What they are doing is not just about talent, but bridging the ecosystem across startups, across making sure the countries, and making sure we are matching talent with the right initiatives.
I'm going to switch tack for a bit, and I'm going to tackle the topics of sustainability, and I'll want to do diversity, and then we'll do one quick pass around everybody before we open up for questions. So shall I come to you, Somesh, first, in terms of climate and sustainability, your views?
It's a digital world, right? It's no longer about physical location, right? I may have somebody work in India, somebody in UK, some in US. So when we talk about ESG, right, we typically start with the word E. I think it actually starts with the word G, which is all about governance, right? Governance across countries, governance across companies. I have the privilege to work in a leading fintech company in strategy, and I've been talking to a lot of CIOs and CEOs, right? What does ESG mean to me? I was in Paris and talking to a leading car manufacturer. He's saying, don't talk to me about electric vehicles, that's given. Talk to me about what can you implement ESG in your products on lending. As people take finance, they are so conscious about how are you really implementing lending in ESG in lending. I would summarize into what I call the 3 Rs, right? At a country level, at a company level, even at a startup level. The first, it's all about reduce carbon footprint. The second R is reinvent a climate conscious culture. And the third R is re-innovate your product and strategy all around ESG.
I think this is a fantastic opportunity to showcase some of the work that is being done and could be done in India's rural markets. I guess we've all talked about the good news. I also want to address some bad news, because without bad news it doesn't quite work. Our experience as a foreign direct investor to invest in India was that it was very difficult. Although the rhetoric here as well as in India is that we love red carpet and not red tape, there was far more red tape than red carpet. And the same, I guess, applies here. Post-Brexit, we talk about issuing skilled visas to people from India to come here and start to build a livelihood. Sadly, this is not materialized in practice as effectively as it should.
This is a win-win situation for both countries. Two great countries working together. We've heard a lot tonight about people, about the living bridge, and about the business opportunities that exist between India and the UK. We're looking forward to the free trade agreement being signed, but that's only just one element of this hugely rich relationship between our two countries.
So I would like to Narasimha Rao, MBE, Bobby to just say a few words.
Hopefully, we will move these people. I will take them to Northern Ireland, so that we would connect with UK, India, and Ireland.
Well, what a hugely insightful discussion that certainly was. Our best wishes involved to everybody organising that event. That's all we've got time for in this week's programme, but we're back on your screens again next weekend. So until then, viewers, have a wonderful week. Take care. Bye-bye.